Welcome back to the 76 Capital Sports Leadership Show. My name is Wayne Kimmel, managing partner of 76 Capital, the sports tech venture capital company. On this show, I interview top sports entrepreneurs, athletes, and executives who are shaping and many times changing the sports business industry. Today, we're going to talk sports business and we're going to talk really cool things like NFTs today with our guest, David Geisser, the founder and CEO of collectID. David, welcome to the 76 Capital Sports Leadership Show.
Welcome. Yeah, also from my side, thanks for having me, Wayne. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
Well, David, I think this is our first show that we've done in Switzerland. So we're not in Switzerland, you're there, right?
Yeah, I mean, these days it's very easy with the virtual conversations. So I'm currently in Eastern Switzerland, that's correct. And you're today in my home. It's home office day. So you're in St. Gallen in Switzerland.
That's awesome. Well, now, so why are we having this conversation? Well, we're having this conversation because we are so excited, meaning our whole team at 76 Capital, Chad and John and Ty and Scott and all of us are so excited to announce our investment into your company, collectID. And this is a really exciting opportunity for us as investors in what's next in the sports tech world. And you guys at collectID are doing some really special things. Share with us what's going on over at collectID.
Yeah, thank you very much, Wayne. So, and vice versa, we are equally amazed to have you on board. It's really, we were really looking for this type of investment with an international perspective and specifically with the focus on sports and sports tech, but you will hear more. So in a nutshell, what we are doing is we connect physical merchandise products, for example, like ice hockey jerseys, soccer jerseys, football jerseys. We connect these physical merchandise products with the digital dimension, and we ultimately open up a gateway to the metaverse. So in a few months or from now, you'll be able to not just wear these jerseys in the physical world, in the stadium or at home, you will also be wearing these jerseys with your avatars in the digital dimension. And that's what we are doing.
Well, you just hit on some of the most exciting words, I think, today, not only in the sports industry, but overall in the whole world today with Web3 and with the metaverse and NFTs. But at the same time, as I introduced you and the company, you know what you're using is a technology called NFC. And what is that?
Absolutely. And as you said, there is a lot of buzz, there is a lot of, let's say, hype around metaverse, NFTs, and blockchain. And we try to look at this really beyond the hype. We're doing blockchain and NFTs for more than 3 years now, but by combining it with a real physical product, we believe that we, let's say, change this whole game. It will become much more than just a hype cycle. And one additional technology that we are using to connect these digital twins of the product with the actual physical product is the NFC technology. This is actually not a brand new technology, but it got adopted a lot more in the recent days. So some of you guys might know NFC technology from your contactless banking card, where you can do transaction without any need for a contact. And we use this kind of technology to integrate a small chip into the jersey. So there is a small NFC chip integrated in each of these jersey. These NFC tags, these are not just normal ones. So they are dynamically encrypted, and each of them has a unique and secure identity. So that means it's not possible to read out the NFC tag and to copy it. So first of all, that's a very secure and a very, let's say, sustainable way to connect a physical product with the digital world. And for the end consumer, it's super simple. So the only thing they have to do is they grab their smartphone. They don't need to open any app. They can just tap the smartphone to the product, and they immediately receive a message and can actually open the digital version of the product like I'm just showing. So you saw I just tapped the product with my smartphone, and then I can easily, let's say, view view the digital version of the product. So I see all the information, obviously get an authenticity guarantee. And this is basically my gateway to the digital dimension.
Well, it's really fascinating. And again, I'm so excited to have you on our show and talk about this and talk about our new investment in collectID here at 76 Capital. And one of the things that we always talk about is this idea of bringing together and this overall convergence of the physical and digital worlds. And that's one of the things that has really, really attracted us to your company, and why we, I guess, met from Philadelphia to Switzerland, and you came over here and spent some time with us. And, it was something that was just fascinating in the way that you're able to now do this and enable fans and customers of teams to now be even more attached and more connected with their favorite team and brand is really fascinating. What are some of your thoughts around that, and how's that going to really start to move forward in your mind?
You mentioned a really important point. I think we go more and more towards the digital world, to the digital dimension. And this obviously opens up a lot of very exciting opportunities, but also some very nice revenue streams for brands and actually teams and clubs. But we shouldn't forget that we are human beings living in a physical world, and physical interaction, and hopefully even more after we survive this pandemic, will be and stay very important. So I think what you just said is it's very key to link both of these worlds. And just to give you an idea on what we did with some of the teams where we already worked together. So, for example, we are working with the current Brazilian football champion, Atlético Mineiro, and people buying the jersey that is equipped with our technology, they have the possibility to interact with each other. So it's also a community tool. So for the first time in history, you can buy a physical product and you can unlock digital experiences and digital content. And just to give one example, so what I'm showing here is actually the jersey of this team. And for example, if I click here on this map, I can see all the owners of these jerseys here in Brazil, but also worldwide. So for the fans, this is a way to interact with each other. And this is especially cool if you're sitting in Philadelphia, where probably not too many Atlético Mineiro fans are. So you can find other fans from the same team. And at the same time, it's also offering a complete new way to engage with fans for this club, because for the first time, they are able to distribute content and experiences based on the community's location. So, of course, there is different content or different engagement with fans that are around the stadium, around the city, that have the chance to actually visit the game in stadium, versus fans, for example, in Europe, in Asia, or in North America, that watch the games in front of the TV. And this is just one very small example on how this technology can both enrich the life of the fans and offering them a complete new experience, but also creating completely new revenue streams and long-term revenue streams for brands and sport teams.
Now, I think your comment at the end about this opportunity for teams and leagues to find new revenue sources, new digital revenue sources, right? Because you can only put so many people in the seats in the stadium. You can only sell so much soda and beers and food. You can only sell, so much advertising and TV and deals. But these are new areas, and that's what we are always thinking about at 76 Capital, sort of the next thing. So, talk a little more about how you're going to be able to unlock these digital revenue opportunities for teams and leagues.
Let me summarize it to three major points. First, with our technology, you create a kind of a premium of the product. So, it's based on numbers. This jersey from this Brazilian club I was mentioned, they could increase the price by 10%. So by not just delivering a physical jersey, by delivering a physical and a digital jersey, they were already able to increase the price. And this is a very nice return on investment. So at the moment when they sold the jersey, they had the cost for collectID covered by 5 times. It's quite a nice return on investment for a club. That's the first pillar, to actually increase the value of the actual physical product. The second point is about data. Equipping products with our technology allows you to understand which customers, which fans own which product. And I don't think I need to explain a lot why this is super valuable. It gives you so much more insights on the fans and the possibility to increase revenue with every single of the fan, but also to offer them much more customized solution. And then the third point is let's say, these completely new revenue streams. So, for example, participating on secondary trading of these products for the first time in history, or offering sponsors that until now were only on the physical jersey, offering them visibility in the digital world, and actually allowing fans to buy stuff from the sponsors if they own the jersey, to get some discounts, for example. And we have made pretty successful experiences on all of these 3 revenue streams. As I said, for example, they could increase the price of the jersey by 10%. And I love this number. Around 5% of all fans buying this jersey, they bought additional stuff from the club or from the sponsors through the jersey. And that's amazing. So, of course, it's about creating more value for the fans, but in the end, it's also about the question, how does this translate into revenues, and how can clubs earn money with these kind of technologies?
Well, I'd love to pick up on what you just said, because I think it's really interesting, because typically you'd buy a jersey, you would buy a hat or something from your favorite club, team, whatever, and that's the end of the transaction. What you're now saying is that may be the beginning of another transaction, a relationship, an opportunity to do a lot more with that physical good, not only in the digital world, but also potentially in the physical world as well.
Absolutely. So to summarize it, we are extending the lifetime of the product. And this is nice for the fans, because today you buy a jersey, okay, you wear it a few times, and then that's it. But to just quote one of our customers, they said for them, this is a living jersey now. So this jersey will look different in 22 than it was in 2021. And it will again look different in 23 because it has new content or new experience on it. So for the fans, it means extending the lifetime of the jersey. And for the clubs or the brands, it means having the possibility to earn further money further down the road with secondary trading, with sponsors activities, and so much more, with the possibility to know the intelligence and the analytics that you know about this specific fan, to customize offers from them for this specific fan in the future. So yeah, and obviously that's just what we know now. I'm sure in 2 or 3 years from now, there will be revenue streams where you and I probably haven't thought about yet. So it's pretty amazing, actually.
It really is. And I think one of the things I'd love to learn more about, from your perspective, is how does this work, right? So where does this information live? How are you able to keep track of all this? I know you're going to start. I think I know where you're going to go with this, but I'd love for our audience to hear, your thoughts on how this really, really works.
Yeah, so in terms of information and data stored, so first of all, for all the people listening, it's always up to the consumer, up to the fans, what information you want to share. And we are very, very strict on that. Or even if brands or teams would ask us to give certain information, that's not possible. So it's always an active opt-in of the fan. But fans tend to share a lot of their information with their beloved club because they have a relation with the club. And it's also about giving them something back, for example, a discount or a pre-sale ride or something like that, if they share the data. Coming to the second part is who owns that data. And there we have to differentiate if we integrate the collectID solution 100%, for example, to an ecosystem of a sports team. So if we integrate this solution like we did with Minero and like we're doing with the biggest clubs, then everything goes through their channels, everything goes through their applications, and they are the only owner of this data, the first-party data. Of course, we have insights on, let's say, the non-personal data. For example, people that buy this product, they tend to buy that product, but the personal data, the user data, is owned by the team. For smaller or medium-sized teams that probably are not that advanced when it comes to their digital strategy and to their digital products, they love to use the collectID out-of-the-box solution because, honestly, we can set this up within a matter of a week or even days. So we had an example of a small team calling us on Wednesday. We signed a contract with them on Thursday, and we went live with the first products actually on Friday. So it's very fast. And in this case, the users go through the collectID ecosystem and scan and interact with the products through our system. It's still very cool for the brand because they can use an existing system, a proven system. And for the fans, it has the positive effect that they can collect, for example, multiple jerseys from different clubs in one ecosystem. So based on this general decision of either integrating it completely into a club's universe or using the out-of-the-box collectID system, there is also an impact on data ownership and obviously usage of the data later on.
Well, David, we know that you don't run this company all by yourself. And of course, when we invest in companies at 76 Capital, it's all about the CEO and their team. Love to hear about your team, and the role that each of the roles that they play, and how excited you are to be able to build this company with the people that are on your team today, and what you're looking potentially for in the future.
Yeah, that's a very good point, and thank you for raising that, Wayne. And you know it as well as a founder and as a leader. You are just the sum of the team. So obviously, it's not just me. So we have a fantastic team. At the moment, it's like 50-50 tech people, like software developers and business development people. And that means we build the software in-house, and that's really key for us. So we don't want to rely on any kind of third parties or on other, let's say, service providers building the software. We do this in-house. And we have a fantastic team, both on the technology side, but also on the business development side. We have a lot of fun within the team. We love, for example, to play ping pong after lunches, and it's a very open culture. And I think it doesn't matter if you're a junior or an intern joining, or if you are a head of product. One of our key elements in the culture is everybody has a voice and everybody has impact. And that means if I say it's impact, but it's also responsibility. So that means if you are not here, we know it because you miss. And if you're working for a big corporation, I guess probably most of the people wouldn't really realize if you're there or not. And that's the beauty of, let's say, these agile small teams. Now, going forward, obviously, one of the reasons why we raised the money is we want to grow the team. And we are mainly looking for business development people, sales people, especially in the new areas, for example, the US and North American market. And that's also one reason why we onboarded 76 Capital, because it will help us to accelerate this growth and this expansion in the US. And then maybe my last thought on that is, I was just speaking about, let's say, the core team right now, but I also consider our board members and obviously the investors, advisors, enablers as part of the team. So I've already promised you one of these shirts, Wayne. We will definitely make that happen. But now you're also a part of the collectID family. And these people, the investors, the advisors, they are equally important for our future growth and the development of this company.
Well, I certainly, from our perspective at 76 Capital, we love your philosophy and the way you think about, your team and the way you're building your business. Was there somebody, a mentor, or someone that you learned from that you model your career around at this point?
I mean, it's very difficult to basically reduce that to one person. Maybe to point one or two out. So there was one guy here from Eastern Switzerland. He's a successful entrepreneur, both here in Switzerland, but he also lived in Boston for around 10 to 12 years. He's still one of the smartest people I've ever met. And he was always pushing me to believe in this idea. And he also helped me to really settle that the very, very first steps when we were looking for family and friends supporting this and some very first steps. And he was, let's say, joining this journey all the way. At some point, his wife, which she founded some companies together with him. In one company, they worked even as CEO and CTO. So she was CEO, he was CTO. At some point, and she was also very helpful. That's why I mentioned these two people. She was member of the board until now. And she helped us a lot with these early stage questions. So I would say these are some of my mentors, but it's very dynamic because now she is probably not the right person anymore to be on the board, because she will always be a person which I can ask for advice and help. But now we are not anymore in this early stage. Now it's about scaling the business. So we need people like you and Chad that have industry know-how, which is at this point probably even more important than, let's say, the pure startup know-how. So I guess I will also get a lot of advices and learnings from you guys. And I think it's building the network for me is the most important thing, that you know to which people you can propose which questions, and that can introduce you to other people that then can help you to build this. So I would say this is also one of the strengths of me, but also of our whole team. We've built an incredibly strong network here in Switzerland, and we're now and in Europe, and now the goal is to extend that network mainly in the US and in North American industry.
Well, David, how did you become interested in the world of technology, blockchain, metaverse, NFTs, NFCs? How did this all come about?
So actually, I got first in touch with the blockchain technology back in 2016, 17, when I was working in a consulting company. And we started to trade with some cryptocurrencies. And at some point, there were like 5, 6 consultants and senior consultants, including me. We were just spending the whole day watching the charts on the screen. So to be honest, we were not working a lot, but we were earning quite some money on this first crypto hype. And that was the moment I was very interested in the blockchain technology. And obviously, working in innovation consulting even before, I had a lot of exposure to a lot of technologies ranging from AR, VR to analytics and artificial intelligence. But I truly believe that blockchain is a technology that has much more to offer than just the cryptos or the NFTs and the whole hype around it. Also, it started with that. But then when I dig deeper and I understood the value of the technology, for example, for authentication and providing, let's say, a possibility to create ownership in the digital space, this was when I really wanted to jump all into this. And but I guess I'm generally very interested in new technologies and new stuff. And I'm also very open to try things out. I think that's important. Otherwise, I would still work in this consulting company, I guess.
Well, how did you, of course, here at 76 Capital, we're all about the convergence of, we talk about the physical and digital world. We talk here at 76 as well as bringing together great entrepreneurs like you, the world of technology and data and analytics and sports. So how did you get to this place where it all made sense for you to bring together your knowledge of the blockchain and crypto and bring that to the world of sports and brands? How did that happen?
I think this is a very good example on, I think, one of the core elements in running a startup or a young company. It's about adoption. yeah, and I think people or organizations that are not able to adapt and to evolve, they will just be left behind. So let me explain that more specific. When we started, we've actually built this as a technology to trade limited edition sneakers peer-to-peer. That's how we started. This is still one of the industries that we are in. And then actually we did the first project with a local football team here in Switzerland. It's actually the football team of our hometown. And we realized that, let's say, beyond authenticity, beyond the possibility to easy trade one object to another person with the help of the blockchain technology, there is so much more about fan engagement. And this was the moment we realized the potential for the sports industry. And the nice thing about sports is it's very easy and very, it's highly scalable, right? So what works with one team, there's basically no reason why it shouldn't work with another team. Of course, there is always personal situations and people, but generally what we can do with the team here in Switzerland, that also works with other soccer teams in Europe, and that works with any sport team in the US. And the second point is, I'm a big sports fan. I do a lot of sports myself, actually some fitness, some running, but also I love skiing. I love playing ball sports. And so you get invited to a Predators game or to any other kind of games, or you see actually players wearing the jerseys with your technology embedded, or 100,000 of fans scanning this, I think you cannot pay that with money. I mean, obviously we are aiming to earn a lot of money with this company at some point and to make it successful. But the feeling, and I mean, you know that, Chad, you have shaked hands with former athletes, with current athletes, with owners of teams, and just being a part of that super emotional industry is, yeah, this is just great. And everybody working for us, or let's say most of the people working for us, they're also big sports fans. So for them, whenever we close a new deal with a new team, this is like, dreams come true.
Well, that's incredible. And I know that, you mentioned earlier, the beginning of this, sort of the origins came out of the sneaker world. And, one of the big things around that is you have an incredible team member that has some pretty special sneakers, right? Yeah,
you're referring to Sergio. He's one of the co-founders as well. He's here since day one. He's I've met him through collectID, and we became very good friends over the last 3 years. And Sergio is not just the collector of more than 800 pair of sneakers. So if you ever have the chance to visit him at home, I don't know how he's doing this with his wife, because, for example, in one of the bathrooms, there are literally just shoes in shelves stocked until the ceiling. There are some super valuable ones. I think he showed you one in the last call, which is it's a special edition from Nike. It's called Freddy, from the Freddy and Krueger movie. And I think the value at the moment is, I don't want to say something wrong, but it's between 30 and 40,000 US dollar at least. Obviously, it's super rare, but there is so many more. And Sergio joined the team. Actually, when I met him for the first time, I reached out to him because before collectID, he was also the founder of Sneakerness, which is the biggest sneaker convention in Europe. They have trade shows in Berlin, in London, in Amsterdam, in almost any capital and big city in Europe. And I just researched a little bit, and he was actually the sneaker guy in Switzerland, maybe even in Europe. So we sit together. I showed him this idea of making sneaker trading much easier and especially secure. And back then I was just looking for his advice, maybe joining as an advisory role. And he was so into this that he directly wanted to join as a co-founder. And that's how he came on board. I've obviously learned a lot about sneakers. I mean, I was wearing some sneakers before, but now I have also like 20 or 30 pairs, and he always brings some cool stuff for the team. So it's really cool to get a look and get an idea of this community. And it's a really, really nice community, these sneakerheads.
Well, I know that's why one of the things that you and my partner Chad Stender really connected on was the sneaker side of the world. And as we start to wrap up this interview, I mean, David, it's been so awesome having you on our 76 Capital Sports Leadership Show. And more importantly, we're so excited to welcome you and your whole team at collectID to our 76 Capital family, and just excited to work with you and really help you build this business into what you want to make this into, and which I know is a pretty big company. So what should we think about as we sort of wind down here? What should we be looking for in 2022 and beyond? What's next for collectID?
What's next? I think that's the probably most important point at the moment. What are the plans for 2022 and beyond? So we've landed our first partnership with a US top 4 league team. And now it's all about, let's say, scaling this. So for 2022, we have a very clear plan. We want to expand and grow our traction in the US. And that's why we are super happy to have you guys on board to help us with introducing to the US sports industry. And I think, I don't make plans for like 2 or 5 years. Let's focus on this year. Let's get a lot of deals done in the US. And then I think, the rest will follow.
Well, 2022 has been a heck of a year for you already. You had, the birth of your son. Congratulations on that. Closing this round that we're so excited to be part of. And, what's the third thing, right? Hopefully it's a lot of success at collectID. Everyone's healthy, mom and your son, and, just the whole crew. And just, I'm so excited, to have this opportunity to have, again, you and the whole team at collectID as part of our overall 76 Capital family here. Hopefully we can do a lot of great things together. And once again, just appreciate you coming on our 76 Capital Sports Leadership Show and wish you the best of luck. And once again, thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Wayne. It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for all these warm words at the end. And I'm really looking forward to actually come to Philadelphia again. And I think that will be rather short term than long term, and to go for a beer with you and to chat about new ideas. But there is definitely some exciting stuff coming. And yes, just stay tuned to hear more from us.
Well, you heard that from David Geisser, the founder and CEO of collectID. Welcome to our 76 Capital family. Welcome to our show. Thank you so much for being on our show. And as you all know, what do you got to do? Just got to go out there and go make it happen. And that's what entrepreneurs like David go and do. So hopefully everybody has a great day. Thank you so much for tuning in on this episode of our 76 Capital Sports Leadership Show.